Is this on straight? I'll just keep...
Wait a moment. I started drinking in Rassefeld. How did I end up here? Did you know that this establishment throws out people for disturbing the harmony? How's that absurd, right? Going inside, try not to soil the carpet. They get so upset about little things like that.
Milk drinker. Milk... A gnawed insult? How benign. And what do you want? Can't you see I'm trying to rehearse? I always have trouble with the accents of the lesser races. You need tickets, do you? Well, so does the Sapiarch of Shimmerine, the Navy's High Battle Reeve, and the Proxy Queen of Alinor. Do you know what I need? I need to figure out how to play Hildegrom, Battle Maiden of Skyrim, before the curtain rises. Ambassador Riggert? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Well, if he can help me find Hildegrom's voice and mannerisms, I'll happily give you 2 tickets to my next performance.
Gauthier Vendilwyn told me who she sent you to talk to, and Riggert always wanted to meet a famous high elf thespian, Lady Enigma. Greetings and salutations from the Nord Cultural Exchange. Hildegrom? She's my favorite hero! I'm sure that one of my Nord gifts will inspire Enigma and help her find the voice of the Battle Maiden. But which one do you think will make her feel like a proper Nord? Essence of Mammoth, of course! Not only will it make Enigma smell like a proper Nord battle maiden, it will also make her irresistible to bull mammoths, snow bears, and half-drunk Nords. It's the perfect choice! I don't know. If Enigma were performing a tragedy, I could see how the depressing stuffed goat could help, but the tale of Hildegrom is a rousing adventure with a hint of body innuendo. Perhaps you could make another suggestion, my friend. Gauthier Vendilwyn told me who she sent you. Hildegrom? She's my favorite hero! I'm sure that one of my Nord gifts will inspire... Essence of Mammoth, of course! Not only will it make Enigma smell like a proper Nord battle maiden, it will also make her irresistible to bull mammoths, snow bears, and half-drunk Nords. It's the perfect choice! Rigert has just the thing to make Enigma feel like a Nord. Essence of mammoth.
What a powerful odor! It reminds me of mammoths charging across fields of ice and snow.
Who knew?
Stench! It makes me woozy, but also fills me with Nord bravado. How inspiring! Milk drinker! That's it! That's the voice! You've earned these tickets, Ambassador Rigert. Thanks to Ambassador Rigert, I feel like a proper Nord battle maiden now. I suppose I smell like one too. Isn't it exciting? Take the tickets and use them well. I expect it will be my best performance ever.
Who knew getting an introduction would be so complicated? You perform the favors, and Rigert will wait for you to return. You are a good friend. We will drink mead and sing songs of battle when this is done.
I don't seem to be making much progress. Honestly, I think she plans to do something rash. She might even attack the guards. Ugh. Never.
Honestly, why can't you newcomers just return to your own lands? Weren't you happier there? Honestly, why can't you newcomers...
Ah, another newcomer. Delightful. What exactly can I do for you? What keen ears you have. You heard us discussing a private matter from way over there. Impressive. Perhaps you can put that inquisitive nature to good use. A newcomer, much like you, is stirring up trouble here in Lilandril. A member of the Mages Guild murdered a sapiarch, but now the murderer's friend is railing against the conviction, loudly. Talk some sense.
Why, it's been nothing but excitement with all these visitors in Lilandril. But sometimes, one does fear you may all be overstaying your welcome. Another visitor to Lilandril. How charming. Hopefully you're just passing through. We don't have much work for your kind around here. Another ephem, well, isn't that just what Lilandril needs right now?
We don't like trouble here.
Spare any coins?
Stay strong, Emil. I'll get you out of this.
Secure the prisoner in the Fighters Guild. Off you go.
You're an adventurer, aren't you? Please, you have to help me. The Sapiarchs accused my best friend of a murder he didn't commit. They won't even consider the possibility that he's innocent. Another Sapiarch named Haladon. Emil arrived at the gates of Lilandril, carrying Haladon's body, and confessed to the crime. But he seemed shocked, confused. I know Emil better than anyone. He's not capable of something like this. I swear it. He's a pacifist for Mara's sake. The Sapiarch's investigation was a joke. They just took Emil at his word and handed down the sentence. Of course, the local guild magister rolled over like she always does. Coward. Please, I need your help. The Sapiarchs say Emil confessed to murdering Haladon, but he'd never murder anyone. He loved Haladon. I don't know if he's confused or disoriented, but I do know he wouldn't do it. Please, talk to Emil. Convince him to recant his confession. He and Emil were very close. If you'd asked me before all this happened, I'd have wagered that one or the other was shopping for a ring of Mara. They had common interests, but more than that, they had common values. Gods, what a tragedy. Restoration magic, wards against disease and curses, that sort of thing. They'd been researching ways to prevent lycanthropy, vampirism, and other afflictions. You see, the Emil I know dedicated his life to healing people, not murdering them. Absolutely not. Emil's gentle as a lamb, and Haladon didn't have a conniving bone in his body. The tension between the guild and the Sapiarchs weighed on them a bit, but not so much that it would drive them apart. Like I said, Emil is innocent. An order of high elf scholars and mages. They walk the halls of power here in Somerset, observing and advising. Of course, there's a thin line. They're not over fond of us guild mages. They think we're reckless. To the Sapiarchs, stepping in puddles is reckless. Not folding your linens is reckless. By their standards, my 90-year-old grandmother is wild as a foal in springtime. No, the Guild values new ideas, novel approaches, but it's far from reckless.
If you insist on involving yourself in some vain investigatory charade, I won't stop you, but tread carefully. The Sapiarchs have little tolerance for amateur detectives. Who are you? Hand of Auriel, what has Queen Irene wrought? I am Sorataril, Sapiarch Master of Psychocartography, the mapping of orbic thought forms and dream phenomena. I also find myself saddled with the role of cultural attaché. I interact with all manner of strange and uncultured individuals, but yes, I maintain relations between my order and the Mages Guild's new arrivals. A trying enterprise. Please, if only for my sake, keep your business here peaceable, all right?
I don't have anything to say to you or anyone else. Please, go. Yes. She's wrong. What? No, no. They already did an investigation. I murdered Haladon. It was me. Why are you inserting yourself into matters that don't concern you? I murdered a
You there?
I don't want your help. I don't need it. Go away. Leave this matter to the... I don't want your help. I don't need it. Go away. Leave this matter to the authorities.
I am Kalawende, Chief Diplomat of the Mages Guild. I apologize for my tone. This has been a trying time. The Sapiarchs consider this matter closed, you know. What are you doing exactly? Who sent you? Our interests may align. Vivine, look, I've uncovered something odd as well. The Sapiarchs have made it very difficult for me to intervene directly. Perhaps you can help. Emil met a shady merchant named Galador prior to the murder. That's very out of character for him. That's what I came here to find out. But it seems Emil doesn't want to talk. Galador has deep connections to Lilandril smugglers and thieves. If you learn what Emil purchased from Galador, we might gain some insight into Haladan's murder. Galador stores his business ledger in one of the inn's larger suites. Unfortunately, he placed a hex on the book, making it impossible to read without a passphrase. If you discover the passphrase, you should be able to learn what Emil purchased. My contacts tell me that Galador left the city on business. Goodness knows what kind. No one will accost you while you investigate. Just be careful. It cannot become known the Mages Guild is investigating this matter after the Sapiarchs forbid it. She is tenacious. She often volunteers to help others. You won't find a more zealous advocate for the Mages Guild's goals and mission. In truth, I've never had a greater pupil, aside from Emil, of course. In my experience, people use talent as an excuse for idleness and lack of effort. Emil and Vivine both enjoy great natural ability, but Emil's focus on restoration magic indicates purer motives. He also works harder than anyone I know. Truthfully, I'd love to, but as a diplomat, I don't have that luxury. The Sapiarchs consider the matter settled, and officially our Mages Guild has accepted their ruling. I have a duty to preserve our relations with the Sapiarchs. It has exacerbated tensions that already exist. The Sapiarchs see this murder as evidence of our negligence. Members of the Guild resent it, so we're caught in something of a downward spiral. Yes, the guard who found Emil, Miliron, The Sapiarchs classified him as a Ryazen, a critical witness. Anyone with close ties to Emil is forbidden to speak with him, but not you. I'll find out where they've hidden Milleron. You look into Galador.
I haven't had an assignment in nearly a week. What's the point of wearing armor if we're just hanging around the guild hall all day? Ancestors take me, but the hall steward keeps it hot in here. I don't know how anyone else stands it. I thought being stationed to Somerset would present new challenges, but the only thing I grapple with is whether to put my trousers on before noon.
I don't have anything to say to you or anyone else. Please, go. I don't have anything to say to you or...
Don't know why a scrawny thing like you is even at my shop. But you can't turn away good gold, I suppose. I doubt you can even lift the shields I offer, but the guild has requested I stop refusing customers. Can those skinny arms even swing a blade? Well, I suppose I can't deny you a purchase.
Hasn't been easy recruiting new members in Somerset. Most of these elves seem to think it's beneath them to do the good, honest work of the Fighters Guild. But you look like a decent sort. You should consider joining up. Yes, the Fighters Guild needs every able-bodied fighter we can get at the moment. On the continent, we have to contend with the likes of Daedric anchors. I suspect there may be different dangers on Somerset, however. Our name for the chains that crash into Tamriel from the skies above. If they actually are from Oblivion is beyond me. I just want them destroyed, like any other decent warrior would. So, what do you say? Interested in joining? Glad to hear it. Welcome to the guild. Daedra crawl all over Tamriel. It's your duty to send them back to Oblivion. And if you come across any Daedric anchors, destroy them. There's rewards for doing so, and potentially some special jobs.
Sometimes I wish the criminals and lawbreakers would take a holiday. Then the officers of the Divine Prosecution could catch up on our paperwork. Is there something you need, newcomer? A writ of authenticity for a Nord ambassador? That's a highly unusual request, considering that a newcomer is the one making it. The Divine Prosecution requires weeks, sometimes even months, to properly audit diplomatic credentials. Vindilwyn, she loves to engage in the commerce of favors. Very well, a cup and bowl were stolen from the Alinor Palace. Favorites of the Queen, I'm told. Recover these items, and I might be persuaded to issue Rigurt a writ of authenticity. Ideas? Plenty. Proof? Nothing that would hold up in a court of law. Not yet, anyway. But I'm more concerned with recovering the items. Stolen goods usually find their way to the pirates in Waston Coraldale. I'd start my search there if I were you.
Oi, traveller! Spare a moment for a question in passing? Thank you for heeding my call, newcomer. I don't suppose your passage to Somerset brought you past Waston Coraldale? My father, Curteros, runs a boat in an angler fleet. They're long overdue, and while his stride tends to be a leisurely one, I've never seen the whole fleet gone for so long. I'm probably over-concerned. The weather's been fair and the wind's mild. For all, they dare not waste their good fortune. But I'd feel better if I knew what to make of their delay. The fleet set off west. Waston Coraldale is an island engulfed by coral reefs, but you can reach it safely in that sailboat. I'd go with you, but I'm afraid I don't share my father's comfort with open water. Not especially. I've never been myself, but father's only remarked about the occasional ornery coral crab or hungry salamander. The reefs are the only real hazard, but only to a ship of considerable size and flimsy make. Oh, there's not much to tell. He's plied the sea for its bounty for as long as I can recall, and that's some time, mind you. We eat well, and he makes a fair bit of coin with his best catches, but sometimes I wish he'd keep a bit more lively. Not since I was very young. My father took me fishing once, showed me how to bait a hook, coax a bite and work the line until the catch tires out. It wasn't meant to be an eventful trip, but it turned out that way. Father dozed off, so I continued to apply what I'd learnt without him. Soon enough, I'd hooked my first catch. Or rather, it hooked me. Yanked me clear off the boat and into the deep. I was too shocked to let go of the rod, nearly drowned. Yes, fished me out of the drink, quite literally. He still calls me his prized catch. It's funnier when you're not coughing up seawater. Oh, there's not much to tell. He's plied the sea for its bounty for as long as I can recall.
torch it! I need aid!
Well, who's there? Quiet down, you'll spook the fish. Never seen you before? Guess no one told you that this is my spot. Been my spot nearly a century. And it'll be my spot a century more, God's willing. So don't go getting any ideas. Plenty of space down the coast. So, off with you now. Huh, fancy that. I told Hiranessa for years those sea elves would mount an invasion from Waston Coraldale. Figures they'd launch it while I was having a nap. Well, come along then. Best send them off before they hook all the best catches. Of course. Any Royal Marine of the Queen's Navy worth their salt would. Might have traded my saber for a fishing rod, but I've still got my sea legs, and I'm still as sharp as the day I mustered. The others I sail with are civilians, though. Aye. Even if they caught a glimpse of a sea elf cutter before it reached Waston Coraldale, there's no chance a fishing boat would have outrun it. If anyone from the fleet's still alive out there, it's our duty to help them. Best we split up. Unless my creaking knees give me away, I ought to be able to handle some scouting while you're searching for survivors. We'll rendezvous at the old lover's tree near the reef on the eastern shore. My friends will know the one. Unless I'm caught. Won't be much use to the sea elves as a prisoner, but I'll black an eye or two before I greet my maker. Tell her my children are grown and my wants are few. But I cannot say the same for my friends. I've had a good life. I don't mind trading what's left of it, so others might have the same. 3 aside from myself, Indolina, Aldoterel, and Carterel. Not much of a fleet when you compare it to the Royal Armada, but we're the scourge of anything with guilds. Hope you find them safe and sound. Too quiet. If one of them had reached the mainland, the Royal Navy would have sent ships to intercept these sea elves by now. No one knows they're here except us. Enemy movement. Numbers, positions, assess our situation. I hope to have a plan by the time you've finished your search.
Oh, sacred ascendants, take me home. I thought you were a sea elf. One moment I was just dipping my toes in the shallows having a pleasant day. The next there's a murderous corsair or hungry reef viper around every corner. We're trapped. He's alive. At his age, I'd have thought he'd be the first to fall prey to those sea elves. Should have given the stubborn old salt more credit. I'll make my way to him. Better than waiting to die out here. Thank you.
Stranger, don't anger the salamanders. They're the only thing keeping those sea elves from wandering too close. What are you doing out here? I've never seen you before. You're sure we're talking about the same Kurtaros? The one I know is more likely to be mistaken for dead and sleep right through this whole mess.
All this crouching is damnation on my back. But I've seen everything I need to know what the enemy's up to. How fares the search? Any sign of Carterel? Never do when it comes to these sea elves. They'll rob us of more than a few good souls before all is said and done here. They're digging in, placing ballistae along the shore. When the Royal Navy finally does mount an attack, they'll be taking fire from Maormer on both land and sea. It'll be a bloodbath, unless some misfortune befalls their plans. Catch my drift? I'm not suggesting we repel the whole invasion, but I do know my way around a ballista. If we turn one toward their own ships and cause enough of a stir, we can draw on a friendly patrol and catch the sea elves out of their element. I'll get into position and await your attack. Then we'll give those sea snakes a good spearing while these two make for your vessel. You do have a vessel, don't you? All right. You two go prepare the boat our friend brought. We'll provide a distraction. Trinamac's wrath be with us. them off while I spear that cutter!
Heal me!
Hold them off while I spear that cutter!
I'm
This is for Carterell! They didn't call me the scourge of the sea drakes for nothing! That'll do. Fall back and get to the boat. Captain coming aboard. Boats prepped and ready.
Father! You had me so worried. What happened? Where's your boat?
None of that now, my Nevis Cup. I'll tell you all about it. But first there's one more thing we need to see to. Come, friends. It's time we commit our memories to the drink.
He washes up here after being gone for weeks, his boat nowhere in sight, and he acts like it's just another day on the sea. Was everything all right? Did he cause you any trouble? Oh, he put you up to that, didn't he? Papa always loves to embellish his journeys. Whatever the truth is, I'm just glad you brought him home safe. If all newcomers are so kind, Somerset will be fortunate to have you. He's not fooling me. I can tell something happened. Father's putting on a brave face like he used to whenever I'd ask him about his younger days. He'd smile and deflect the question, but I could see a sadness in his eyes he couldn't hide. His secret. Oh, yes. She and Carterell have been together for years. She used to look after me when I was younger, while Father and the others were off at sea. She's a good friend. I imagine she'll be with Father and the others, waiting to see Carterell when she arrives. The fanciful story of meeting my mother, a myth about how the moon and stars winked on the day of my birth, and tall tales about his fishing voyages. Before that, not a word. Not once. I don't think I'll ever... 70 years isn't enough? I love my father, but all I want is to love him for who he is, not who he shows me. When he was missing, I wasn't just worried I'd lose him. I was worried I'd never get the chance to know him. You didn't come here to listen to a grown woman bawling about her father to a stranger. Forgive me. You did enough bringing him home safe. What comes after is up to me. He's not fooling me. I can tell something happened. Father's the fanciful story of meeting my mother, a myth about how the moon and stars winked on the day of my birth, and tall tales about his fishing voyages. Before that, not a word. Not once. I don't think I'll ever get the truth out of him. 70 years isn't enough? I love my father, but all I want is to love him for who he is, not who he shows. You didn't come here to listen to a grown woman bawling about her father. He and his mates have a tradition of celebrating their safe return. They're partial to a small batch brewer on the south side of Alinor, by the craft masons. They'll probably be there all night. The fanciful story of meeting my mother, a myth about how the moon... You're serious? So what you said about the sea elves attacking, it was all true? What's he hiding? Was he a pirate? I always wondered if he didn't talk about it because he was ashamed. Why would he hide that? I'm sorry, I have so many questions and it's not you who has the answers. I'll leave my father to the company of his friends for now, but when he's ready to come home, he can't leave his other life behind this time.
Vindilwyn told me where she sent you. I've been having the most interesting conversation with this divine prosecution person here. Did you know the tall elves have at least 3 rules for every possibility? Oh, did you find the stolen goods? Rigert is so happy he could kiss you! The last time I did that, though, Thane Mera punched me in the nose, so... I know. Let's give the good Justiciar one of my Nord keepsakes. Which one do you think he'd like best? Interesting. The stuffed goat represents stoic bravery, and she never breaks any rules. I mean, how could she? She's dead. Anyway, she stands for all the same things as the divine prosecution. Yes, I think that's the perfect gift to give to the Justiciar. The Nord Cultural Exchange proudly returns the Queen's stolen items. And this stuffed goat, it's a Nord treasure.
Remarkable work. I'll grant you that writ of authenticity now. A word of advice. If Vindilwyn refuses to help, remind her that the divine persecution might remember the incident at the Battle Reeve's dinner party. You performed admirably. And the fact that I don't have to tell the Queen that her favorite bowl and cup were stolen, well, that's just honey butter on the sour meat pasty. Of course, I must admit I didn't expect you to succeed, but thank you for recovering the items. As for the stuffed goat, I'll just toss that in the trash after the 2 of you leave. In the meantime, be careful when dealing with Vindilwyn. Let's just say Vindilwyn likes to maintain the upper hand. Here's a bit of advice. If she refuses to help you, tell her that the divine persecution could look into that incident at the Battle Reeve's dinner party if you were to remind me about it.
Now that we have the writ of authenticity, the letter of recommendation, and the tickets to Enigma's performance, we should return to Courtier Vindilwyn so I can get my audience with the proxy queen.
Merchant to the great houses,